More story, more knowledge.
1984 is a dystopian novel written by George Orwell in 1949, set in a future totalitarian state where the government, known as the Party, controls every aspect of citizens' lives. The novel follows the story of Winston Smith, a low-ranking member of the ruling party, who begins to rebel against the oppressive regime. The story is set in Airstrip 1, a province of the superstate Oceania, which is constantly at war with one of the other two superstates, Eurasia and Eastasia. The party controls everything, including the media, the language, and even people's thoughts through the use of propaganda and surveillance. The party's leader is Big Brother, who is worshipped as a godlike figure. Winston, who works in the Ministry of Truth, is responsible for rewriting historical records to match the party's current policies. However, he secretly hates the party and dreams of rebelling against it. Winston's rebellion begins when he starts a diary in which he writes his thoughts and feelings, which are forbidden by the party. Winston meets Julia, a fellow party member who shares his hatred for the party. They begin a love affair, which is also forbidden by the party. Winston and Julia are eventually caught by the Thought Police, the party's secret police, and are taken to the Ministry of Love, where they are tortured and brainwashed until they betray each other. Throughout the novel, Winston is haunted by his memories of a time before the party's rise to power, when people had freedom and individuality. He reads a book by Emmanuel Goldstein, The Party's Enemy, which explains the true nature of the party and its goals. In the end, Winston is broken and accepts the party's worldview, loving Big Brother and betraying his former beliefs and relationships. The novel ends with Winston's love for Big Brother and his complete subjugation to the party's ideology. 1984 is a classic of dystopian literature and is considered one of the most influential novels of the 20th century. It is a powerful critique of totalitarianism and a warning about the dangers of government control over people's lives. The novel's themes of surveillance, propaganda, and the manipulation of language remain relevant today, and the book's title has become synonymous with government overreach and abuse of power. The main character of 1984 is Winston Smith, a middle-aged man who works at the Ministry of Truth as a records editor. Winston is disillusioned with the oppressive regime of the party and begins to rebel against it in small ways, such as by keeping a forbidden diary and engaging in a forbidden love affair with Julia. Winston is intelligent and introspective, and his thoughts and feelings form the basis of the novel's critique of totalitarianism. Julia is Winston's love interest, a young and attractive party member who shares his hatred for the party. Julia is more impulsive and less analytical than Winston, but she is just as committed to rebelling against the party. Julia is an important character because she helps Winston to understand that he is not alone in his dissent and gives him hope for a better future. O'Brien is a high-ranking party member who Winston believes is also a member of the underground resistance movement known as the Brotherhood. Winston is drawn to O'Brien because he sees in him a kindred spirit and a potential ally in his rebellion against the party. However, O'Brien is actually a member of the Thought Police, and he uses Winston's trust in him to trap him and Julia and subject them to torture and brainwashing. Big Brother is the leader of the party and the object of constant adoration and worship by the citizens of Oceania. Big Brother is an enigmatic figure who is never seen in person, but whose presence is felt everywhere through propaganda and surveillance. Big Brother represents the absolute power and control of the party over people's lives and is the ultimate symbol of totalitarianism. Emmanuel Goldstein is the party's supposed arch-enemy, the leader of the Brotherhood, and the author of The Theory and Practice of Oligarchical Collectivism, a book that Winston reads and finds to be a revelation. Goldstein is portrayed as a kind of anti-Big Brother, a voice of dissent and resistance against the party's oppressive regime. However, it is unclear whether Goldstein actually exists or whether he is a creation of the party's propaganda machine. In conclusion, the characters of 1984 are all important to the novel's critique of totalitarianism and its exploration of the human desire for freedom and individuality. Winston and Julia represent the rebellious spirit that refuses to be subjugated by the party, while O'Brien and Big Brother represent the all-encompassing power of the party and the dangers of unchecked government control. Emmanuel Goldstein is a symbol of hope and resistance, but also a reminder of the difficulty of opposing a regime that has complete control over people's lives.